Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a quick first impressions video for you on a folding knife from Sharp by Design, which I've been a little remiss getting. I've had a number of Sharp by Design knives. Brian does a great job from the design standpoint. Now, I've never had one of his customs. I've never handled one of his customs, but that's on my sort of bucket list of things to do in the knife world. I don't really want to own one, but I'd like to at least handle a custom from Brian Nadeau. But his production knives tend to be fantastic. And this one, the Apex, is no exception. So I wanted to give you a quick rundown in this video. It won't be a super long video. As I always do with first impressions, it's sort of like, here's what's going on with this knife and here's kind of what I initially think of it. And so starting off with a quick rundown, we have up front this beautifully ground S90V blade. These are built, by the way, by Riot, who is 100% the best production company in existence right now. And so yeah, if you want to do a high-end production, Riot really makes the most sense. Blade stock thickness is a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch, about 5/32 on this, which is pretty cool. I tend to like those heftier knives, and so this knife is really cool. It's still thin behind the edge, which is great. But what I especially like about this is it sort of has this interesting combination of being sort of svelte and lean and clean, but also having having a little bit of an overbuilt feel to it, and some really interesting details. And so this is something I want to touch on. This is my biggest impression of this knife. When it comes to a high-end knife, there are a couple of things that I like to see. One is, really good build quality, well put together. But then I find there's this perfect balance where, having some interesting details is great, but a knife can quickly and very easily become too busy and just have too much stuff going on. Something like this. Whoops. There we go. This bag knives design can kind of give you what I get at what I'm talking about. Like, I still like this, and it's pretty cool, but it's sort of a little bit over the top, right? This is a little classier. It's a little cleaner. It has some visual interest. We've got, Brian's typical proprietary pivot here. We have these great openings in the handle, which are really cool. Allow you to see that awesome S90V blade through there, which is great. We've got some polishing on the clip. This does have a couple little marks on it. This is a used knife, but very lightly used, in great condition. Anyway, front flipper, which in this case I think makes a lot of sense for the design. Normally I'm not a big fan of front flippers, but this works really well, and of course it finger flicks very well also. All right, obviously this is a bearing pivot. It is going to have, I don't know if I'll be able to show you on camera. Do I have a light nearby? Yeah, I should. If you take a look in there, you can see Brian does this proprietary sort of detent ramp bump sort of thing on his knives. It's a really different feeling detent. It's really well done, and it's about the best way that that you can do a detent. I mean, a ceramic ball detent works fine. Lots of people are doing it. It's very effective. But Brian implementing this into the lock bar insert is a great idea, and it works really well, and it gives you a slightly different feel, which is very much appreciated. So before I tell you my overall thoughts, I think you can tell pretty much that I'm interested in this. I'm a fan. I really am. I don't know, is it my favorite Sharp by Design up to this point? I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's really very good. And essentially, I'm a fan of Brian's sort of design aesthetic. So most of the things that he's done, I've been pretty happy with. Every once in a while, like is it the Void? Anyway, a couple of the production models have been too small for me. But otherwise, very good. We have these great anodized inlays here, which now the way these are done, they're actually screwed in from inside the handle, which is a little bit of a different approach than what we sometimes see. Really well done. But they could be glued in, they could be, heated and dropped in or whatever, or cooled and dropped in. But in this case, they're screwed in, which I think is a nice touch. It allows you to disassemble the knife pretty easily. Um, the other thing that I want to mention in the first impressions is the way this handle is done. So two sides milled and then screwed together. It's just this one pocket clip screw that holds the back together. And there's also there's another bar in here, a locating bar sort of. So really, really nice, very, very clean on that design, and allows for there to essentially be no backspacer, which is pretty cool. Again, Brian sort of implementing a few things, kind of killing two birds with one stone is always neat to see. So last thing here is the overall size, and then I'll give you my overall impression. So 8 inches overall, 3.5 on the blade length, 4 7/16 closed. So this is really, really impressive. This does not take up a lot of room in pocket. It's not terribly heavy at 3.9 ounces. There are a number of variations, so every single one of the variations may adjust that, vary that weight just a little bit. They all are going to have a decent amount of grip area, which is a big thing for me. So really nice jimping, very functional jimping on the blade spine here, and lots of room for my forefinger grip at about 3 3/4 inches of grip area. So overall, what do I think of this knife? Yeah, this is a really, really nice high-end folder offering from Brian. Another one, okay? And we've seen quite a few, and I look forward to, what's to come. Again, if you don't have one of these, I could actually see someone, making it a goal for their collection to have an example of every one of Brian's production models done through Riot, because every single one that I've handled has been really, really enjoyable. All right. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check those channel sponsors. We will talk to you soon.